Three concerts by Ivan Saldua, read by Peter Shillingford. 1. King Crimson, Roxy Music. Anoeta Velodrome, 24th August 1982. I told Juanpa there wasn't any problem about going to the festival. The management press conference was going to be the following week, or 2 weeks later at most. I agreed to everything that would happen after that with Rosón, and the police knew all about it. He could be sure there wouldn't be any bother for us. In any case, how were they going to find us among so many people? But he was wary, and I couldn't convince him to leave the flat. In fact, he'd been highly strung since the action at Lorea, even though he hadn't got out of the car. But 2 years had gone by, and I thought that was long enough to start forgetting about things, or at least not to think about them so much, and even less so now that they were going to become part of the past. I don't like going to concerts alone, but I didn't have a choice. My idea was to go and see Roxy Music. I've been a fan for a long time, all the tapes are there in my room to prove it, and I thought the record they were touring, Avalon, was okay. Perhaps just a single criticism, perhaps a faster song was missing from it, something like on the older records. But the concert wasn't at all bad, not at all. Brian Ferry was as elegant as I had imagined him, and the sound was very clear. Having said that, Phil Manzanera came across as a bit of a yob sometimes. But I have to admit I didn't pay as much attention as I'd wanted to. For one thing, the supporting band was amazing. I knew King Crimson, of course. They were one of the stars of symphonic rock. My brother had a few records by them, for instance that first one with the face on the cover. In fact, until the concert was announced, I had thought the group had broken up. But they were astonishing from the very first song onwards. They came out one by one. Firstly, the drummer playing electronic percussion. Then the singer, a skinny bloke who joined in with the drummer on electronic percussion. Then a bald musician with a moustache who played a weird string instrument. I was later found out his device was a chandler stick. And finally we caught sight of Robert Fripp, the band's leader, in a corner, sitting on a stool, surrounded by machines and getting bizarre sounds out of his guitar. The song rose in crescendo as instruments and musicians joined in. They all gave out a lot of energy. In fact, I almost danced more to King Crimson than to Roxy Music. They didn't play many old songs, although that was what most people had been expecting, and of course the concert seemed too short for us, which is the fate of support groups. I thought they sounded really modern, almost new wave. I know them better now because I bought their latest 2 records right away, Discipline and Beat. The latter, in fact, was the one they were touring at the concert in Donostia. And I have to admit that I didn't pay so much attention to the next act because I came across the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen halfway through King Crimson. She was 4 or 5 rows in front of me, just a few steps away. Until that moment I'd only seen her long dark hair. And then, halfway through frame by frame, she turned back towards me and stared, her look deeper than the ocean. And I realized immediately that she was looking at me, only at me. I held her gaze for as long as I could, but eventually I had to lower my eyes. I don't know why. And when I looked up again, the song had finished and the girl was no longer there. I pushed my way forward, which people didn't like, to look for her, but she was nowhere to be seen, and I wasn't able to concentrate properly on the following act. I walked all around the place looking for that girl. I waited in the middle of the velodrome after the concert until everyone had left, but it was no good. 2. U2, Anoeta Velodrome, 14th May, 1992. But do you really like them, Juanpa? I can't stand how messianic Bono gets, or any of their right-on messages. What are you talking about? It's an incredible show, and you can't say they don't have any irony, a bit of self-irony too. What's more, irony is the basis for today's society, don't you think? Let's get back to the concert, come on. Just one drink, I promise you. And you're not going to tell me you like Dancing Queen, are you? That's ironic too, is it? Yeah, to be honest, I don't know where they got that dumb idea to do an ABBA cover. And haven't played any of their old songs, the bastards. What about Angel of Harlem? Really old ones, I mean. Sunday Bloody Sunday or New Year's Day, for instance. In any case, that's from Rattle and Hum, the worst record they've ever made, apart from this new one, of course. Acton Baby isn't that bad. You just haven't listened to it enough, that's all. Yeah, right. If you hadn't asked me to come along. Maybe I'll play the old stuff in the second part of the concert. Maybe. What are you having, beer? Yeah, beer. In any case, this is pure fireworks. That old German car and all those giant screens. Concert back in the day. Those were the real thing. Gemma, don't start that old chestnut about the King Crimson concert. Not again, please. If you'd have come with me, I wouldn't need to. Okay, leave it out. All right, changing the subject, what are you going to do about the other thing? Are you going to join up with Aulistia and Co. in the end? It's a bad deal, I've told you that before. It's not about the deal, Chema. In any case, I don't know what I'll end up doing. Perhaps I'll give up my card and stay at home. I don't want to end up in the PSOE like you lot. Don't say daft things. We aren't ever going to join the PSOE. That remains to be seen. In any case, I don't think it's fair. Not right now. This quarrel. We've just started to take on responsibilities for once. We have the chance to do something, to actually do something. What are you afraid of? Losing your position as advisor? I didn't realize you liked La Cua all that much. It's not that, Juanpa. Don't be so cynical. The only thing I'm saying is that after what we did, I don't know what right... No, don't start off on that again. All of that's been forgiven. Forgiven, get it? In any case... Hey, wait a minute, that song, isn't it Lou Reed? Yeah, mate, Satellite of Love. At least they seem to have started choosing better songs to cover. Let's go. Hold on. Bring your beer, mate. What's the problem? Hey, Chema, what's up? There, the other side of the bar. Haven't you seen? Seen? Seen what? The girl. The girl from the King Crimson concert. It's her, I'm sure. She's identical, but... How should I know? I wasn't there, remember? She's staring at me, just like back then. I've got no idea what her eyes are saying, but I'll lose her in the crowd again. I'm off. But Chema... 3. Alex Ubago, Mana. Ilube Bullring, 14th November, 2002. Chema didn't find the girl, even though he walked all around the velodrome more than once and waited until U2's roadies started dismantling the stage. Although he had remembered the girl from the King Crimson concert from time to time over the previous 10 years and felt something like melancholy, it became almost an obsession with him in the 10 years after the U2 gig. He started seeing her eyes in dreams or nightmares, and he didn't give up hope of ever seeing her again. He paid full attention to every concert he went to, just in case, but nothing happened. Meanwhile, life went on. Juanpa, his former fellow member of a terrorist cell and friend, died of cancer in 1996. Their relationship had grown a little cool over recent years. In 1998, Chema lost his post as advisor at the Basque government's Public Transport and Employment Department, and he started working for the PSEEE during the Nicolás Redondo Terreros years, and also under Pachi López. He has had a bodyguard since 2000. He has a 13-year-old daughter, Anne, and had split up from his girlfriend Teresa in 1999 after spending 15 years together. He has more than 3,000 records at home, both LPs and CDs. We're in 2002 and Chema hasn't forgotten that it's the 10th anniversary. If it's ever going to happen, he sometimes thinks, this will be the year, which is why he tries to go to as many concerts as possible in Donostia, even to see groups he doesn't like, Depeche Mode for instance. He's worried about one thing. There are less and less concerts in the velodrome. But he hasn't completely given up, even though he doesn't expect the girl to turn up on this occasion. In spite of his obsession, he still thinks that going to see Mana and Alex Ubago is in poor taste. The King Crimson concert girl wouldn't go. But he's gone to Ilube today for his daughter's sake. Teresa couldn't go, and he didn't think a good idea for such a young girl to go by herself. Having no choice in the matter, when the time arrives, Anne, bodyguard José Manuel, and Chema set off for the bullring. He gets on well with his daughter. She comes to him every 2 weekends and for 1 month in the summer, and he's promised himself he'll try not to make insulting comments. He manages to keep his mouth shut while Alex Ubago opens the show. But as soon as Mana finish their second song, he blurts out, "They're nothing but a soppy version of the Police," to which Anne asks who the Police are, and he feels desolate for a moment. "Si llueve es que los ángeles lloran," the singer comes out with, and Chema looks at his daughter out of the corner of his eye. She's loving it. After 4 or 5 songs, he says she can go down to the dance floor, and, just in case, he sends José Manuel after her, recommending he stay at a fair distance from her. He sees her as soon as his bodyguard stands up. She's sitting 3 seats to his right. Those same deep eyes. She looks exactly the same. But that's impossible 20 years later, Chema thinks. There's no way that's possible. He starts to get up, but it's the girl who comes up to his chair so quickly that he doesn't even notice her moving. "Don't worry," she whispers to him. "This time I'm not going to leave." "Why not?" Chema asks her and feels foolish for doing so right away. "Because I had to be here today, not like the other times. And yet here you are. And you were here the other times too, if memory serves." Chema feels he's getting his confidence back little by little, although he's still nervous. "No, that's not it. I was too young for the U2 gig, and for the previous one, King Crimson. I hadn't even been born yet." What? What are you talking about? What the hell do you mean? Who are you? Gemma explodes, unable to tear his eyes away from the girl's. Lady Baldur. I would have been Lady Baldur if I had been born. But don't look like that. You know the surname all too well. But I would have been born in 1983 if you hadn't killed my father 3 years earlier in the Lorea attack. And now I've been 19, and I'd have come to the Mana concert with my friends. I could have liked Mana if I'd reached the age of 19, just as your daughter likes them. Gemma takes his eyes from the girls for the first time and looks down at the dance floor, towards where he thinks Anna is. He doesn't see her or José Manuel jumping around down there. What do you want from me? I think you know. Are you going to take me with you? That'll be your choice. But where to? That doesn't matter, but you can choose. There's a choice? What choice? You or your daughter, obviously. It's fair, don't you think? But I'm not going to give you much time to decide. How about until the end of the next song? And the seconds started to go by slowly, very slowly.